are once again beginning the phase 1 quarantine. We're starting to get outward here. Well, here in New York City, we're starting to get out again. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing and liking and supporting this show. This is Man with the Show. If you have not realized yet, my name is Zane. A lot going on. And at the time of this recording, we have already started phase 1. So far, so good for day 1. As we know, we'll know on the evening rush how it is. The morning rush supposedly was pretty good, so who knows how many people got out, what's going on. I know a lot of people I know are starting to go back to work. But let's get into this. We've discussed about the HBOMAX website, channel, whatever you want to call it, streaming site. Tons of stuff. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism on it. They like saying, where are the movies on that? And we're going to have another episode on that because there's a lot of hidden movies and people don't realize it when they click on it. There's 2-page sections on there. And a lot of people are looking at the feature section thinking that's enough of the movies. There's a lot more in there, especially under the Turner Classic section. So there's like a lot, some movies that are hidden in there, and we'll discuss that on another episode as soon as we get all the information together. But there are other things that are on there. There's some animation. Sesame Street has some new shows. There's like a sort of late night show with Elmo. It's like a 15-minute thing. It's cute. If you like the Sesame Street thing, Elmo's doing like a talk show with celebrity guests. A little education thrown into there, which is a little cute on there. It's a good idea on that. But here's the other thing. We know Warner Brothers and AT&T who own the site. They own HBO Max. They also own Looney Tunes, and there is a new Looney Tunes series on HBO Max. I haven't looked at how many episodes. There should be a couple episodes already up there. But from what we understand, and I'm disappointed in this, I'm really upset about this. They have taken away a prop in the series, and that prop are all the guns that Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam have used in this series. Basically, they've just given them axes and scythes and knives and other things other than guns. What, oh, wow. I just have to hit myself in the head, bang myself on a wall when I hear stuff like this. Some people, there was somebody today, and I was watching, when I recorded this, I was watching this radio show from down south it's Alabama, if I'm not mistaken on there. It's the Rick and Bubba show. I encourage you, since you're watching this on YouTube, catch them on a while. A little religious, but basically they're really funny guys on there. And there was a line that he said, that Rick had said. He says, if there's a leak on the second floor and you're mopping the water on the mopping the leak on the first floor, why are you continuing the mop when you're supposed to repair the leak on the second floor? And what I mean by that is that you have this situation when they said, well, we got too much guns and there's too much gun violence and stuff like that on that. But to resolve situations like this and many other situations is you got to take care of the leak on the second floor. And what I mean is that taking away the guns is not going to resolve the situation. You're going to say, well, we're trying to stop the violence with the kids. You're dropping anvils. You're dropping people off cliffs in the cartoon. You're using knives. You're using axes. You're using explosives. You still have the issues of the cartoon violence in there, but you just minused out one thing that you just didn't like. And you're like, well, we don't want kids to have guns. No. It's not the situation. You just want to eliminate guns completely, but you're not eliminating the issues, the true issues of it. And that's the thing, not to get too political on there. The fun part of the Looney Tunes is when they do bits like this. I mean, one of the bits I love when they do the shotgun bit with Elmer Fudd is, when he sticks it in the hole and it comes up the back end and he blasts himself. And then the old rabbit season, duck season, where, they keep rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season, fire! That's funny. What's he going to do? Duck season, slice my head off. It doesn't work out that well. From what I understand, the animation is good on the new series, But, to see this and I mean, you're taking one type of violence out from something on there. I mean, yeah, it's violence on there, but everybody's getting, they get overwhelmed on the political rhetoric because you have these small little one percenters. Some of them don't even watch this. And the ones that do just literally, they don't enjoy it. And they have to criticize it. And then, you have these companies, they bend at the knee to appease these people. That's not your, that's, they have to understand, these are not your fans. My friend Richard must be turning over in his grave. God rest his soul. He was a big Warner Brothers fan. There's Richard, who does the Rabbit Rabbit show on there. He also worked for Warner for a while. He dressed up as Bugs Bunny for the Warner stores when they used to have the Warner stores all over the place on there. And he loved Bugs Bunny, and he respected the situation on there. And when you see something like this, I mean, when you watch a cartoon like a Looney Tunes cartoon, it's loony. It says loony in the word, so it's going to be crazy. It's going to be, I hate to see, Animaniacs is coming around the corner here. The new Animaniacs series, and there's a lot of craziness in that. How much are they going to pull back on that? When that series comes out, I think it's next year. It's coming out on Hulu. How much of it that, what are they going to range back on that series when that comes out? I mean, when I watch a cartoon of this nature, I want to see some senseless violence and, dropping an anvil on somebody, a gun going off that basically goes off wrong, that's some funny stuff. But, now you got some people says, well, we can't have guns because the kids can't get, so the kids don't get the guns. That's not the situation. If you're going to have a situation where, you're talking about gun violence and stuff like that, you need to teach this the young generation about guns. Teach you the good, the good and the bad of it, the situations of it. Maybe I said, well, there's no good things about it. No, it's, you have guns to protect you. Sometimes, you need protection. Sometimes you need to use it to feed yourself. There are people who live in the mountains and stuff like that. They use their guns to hunt and stuff like that. And there are people down here that use guns to hunt, that too. Let's tell you, when I used to work for a company down south, production house, we used to work with Real Tree Outdoors, a couple of the Mossy Oak and all that. And this is back when Hey Vern was around. You remember that guy that used to go, hey Vern. He had another character. I'm trying to remember the name on that. On there, probably come up on the screen. And he did a character that basically taught kids, the safeties of shooting a gun. And for you to hide it, away, doesn't eliminate the problems. There are other. You have to realize that there are other problems other than the gun. The gun is just an inanimate object. It doesn't shoot itself. Someone has to pull the trigger. There was a guy who was on YouTube that said he put 3 guns on there. And he said, let's see. Sat there for a few minutes. He says, they're not going off. No, it's not killing anybody. They're just inanimate objects. It's just like the knife, just like the axe and the side and explosives and stuff like that. It has to have some chain reaction to, someone has to shoot that gun. The issues is that, it's somebody that basically, gets a bit aggressive or something like that, or goes off by accident. Somebody has to be there with the finger. You can't just blind everybody to everything, And this is the point where you go, oh, wow, really? You take away a gun from a cartoon character. It's a cartoon. Kids are smarter these days, And when you look into the perspective, that kids are on the internet, they're trying to educate themselves better, which, that's another issue. There's some kids that are trying to do their best to educate themselves, but they don't get a good education. Things have to change on that as well. And we got to go back a bit, you know. We got to go back to where we used to educate in schools very well on everything. And maybe that we will succeed better. We can do better in this country, I'll tell you, when it comes to these things. And for people to complain about a cartoon violence, you know, I do you remember the Simpsons episode where freaking Marge didn't like the cartoon violence, and she had them change it, and it ended up that they were like sitting there, and you know, in the rocking chair, they're like, "Would you like some lemonade?" You know, and it's like, huh? You know, and Krusty was like, "What the hell is this crap?" You know, and what happened? You know, it basically the ending was that what was it? The statue of Michael was in the museum. People protested against that, and she says, "Well, no, that's another thing. Oh, so you're for one thing and you're not for another." So, and then finally, it ended up that basically they returned the cartoon back to the way it was. Maybe that's what we need to have happen, something of that nature, for it to go back to the way it was. You know, I would say, hey, contact HBOMAX, contact Warner Brothers, AT&T, tell them, it says, hey, I want Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam's guns back in their holsters. We want to see them with it. You know, you don't think that freaking a sai, an axe, or something like that is just as deadly as a gun? No. Let me tell you something. According to the statistics, and you can look this up, more likely people get killed by sharp weapons, the fist, than a handgun or less than a shotgun. Shotguns, you know, deaths are not as much as they are if you get stabbed or, you know, hit with some sort of sharp blade. You know, look it up. I tell you, it's funny when you look into the situations, because it's all a narrative. When it comes to all this, it's all a political narrative. And like I said, it's these small little 1% people that basically just don't understand the situation. They're not Looney Tunes watchers, plain and simple. And if they are, they just literally don't like the show. Why are they watching? It's like the old Howard Stern. They just want to see what happens next. You know, people watch. You know, used to listen to the Howard Stern show on the radio. They did the ratings. They said the people that listened to it, that liked it, want to see what he says next. The people who hated it still listen to it. They want to see what he says next. And that's the same thing with this. It's, you know, you get these little people, they say they want to see what happens next so they can complain about it. Complain. Okay? I digress. But let's go out. Let's go tell AT&T and HBO Max. We don't like that when you do that. You know, it's Looney Tunes. It's supposed to be loony. You know, you're supposed to have all crazy things. What are you going to take out next? You know? That's my next thing. What are you going to take out next? You know, so comment below. Tell me, are you upset about this? Are you angry as I am? Or you don't really care? Or basically, are you part of that 1% that rather have the guns away? You know, so comment in the comments below. I do appreciate the comments below. Let's keep it civil down there, as always. We are monitoring again. I have someone monitoring now. I got somebody to monitor the comments line, so you'll start to see some answers now to some of the comments on there. We're going to start doing that very soon. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being there. And once again, thank you for watching Man with the Show. I'm your host, Zane. Have a good one, and don't let an anvil hit you.